a double.
YouTube, good to see y'all again.
What is up? I feel like it has been forever.
Right, we usually twice a week, but
sorry, life has caught up with us and we got sick.
Yup, so it was one
we
of
were
us
out.
then the other.
Literally, so but we're
all
back.
right. It's good to be back. Goodfella said what's up too. West Side Chewy.
Oh, he looks a hot mess.
Don't he? All right, so today for y'all we're gonna title this. It might sound confusing, but once you watch it, it'll make sense. Jehovah's Witnesses proud to be poor.
Yep.
Because the culture, explain the culture of Jehovah's Witnesses when it comes to
with everything. It's like, okay, there's what Jehovah's Witnesses say, and then there's how they act. So even with the new beard policy and everything, they acted like, okay, we can't have beards, and even would say it, but nothing was ever written. Okay,
right.
Or if it was written, they took it out.
Yep.
You know,
it's like the rules. Then it's the culture. It's like what's on paper and then what's actually going on. And a couple people have been mentioned, like Cat Williams. That's gonna tie into this too.
Oh, whoever has watched his video, a lot of people didn't know that he was a witness. Yeah,
and people don't know we're from the same city, and some of my family went to the hall when he was going to the hall. So random people know Cat Williams, where we from.
Yep, that makes sense though. There's been a lot of talents that have ties to Jehovah's Witnesses.
I think we might even tie that in the video toward the end, right?
Yeah, so stick around until the end. You guys gotta see it.
Yeah, this is a money topic right here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so first, whenever it comes to the topic of money, just like with other religions, they're always the kind of religion that says, okay, money has no value, it can't secure your happiness or give you any security in the future. Listen, this is how we feel about money. You can say money doesn't bring you happiness. It's true. Money does not bring you happiness, okay? But you cannot say that money does not bring you security.
Exactly.
And the more that we started learning about ourselves and about life in general, like, you operate in one of two ways. You either operate in lack or you operate in abundance.
Exactly.
You either operate in survival mode or you operate in a different way that gives you more options. And the truth of the matter is, if you don't have money in this world, you can still be happy, but everybody may not feel secure. Okay, money buys you options.
And it comes to, with money, it's all about your values. So where if you have a family and you are always at work and you never spend time with your family, that's different.
Yeah, at that point, it's bringing no value.
Yeah, so when you put money over your other values, that's when the problem comes in. But to just say, oh, money doesn't matter. No, everybody is striving to have the best job they can at least have.
Yeah.
You know, if you are working at a job that's able to pay your bills, you're not going to quit and get a job that can't pay your bills because you want some type of security. Yes, and
it's just about balance, you know? Like, you don't have... And a lot of times I think the culture of Jehovah's Witnesses is very extreme. So the organization can say something, and then the trickling down effect to what happens locally, like at the local congregations and things, is people take things to an extreme. Definitely. So then they're like, oh, well... if you go to secondary school or post-secondary school, after high school, then you're not a good spiritual person. You're not this. It was like a thing. If you didn't pioneer straight out of high school, you were not spiritual. Like they didn't outright say it, but they looked down on your decision.
And that's when the culture comes in, because there's people that don't understand what Jehovah's Witnesses. When we say proud to be poor, one person that commented when we did the poll, like, what video should we do next? And they're like, poor. Jehovah's Witnesses are not poor. I may be misunderstanding, but I've been around witnesses and they're not poor. That could be a personal experience. And what we're saying, that is not what we're talking about. We're saying the culture of Jehovah's Witnesses is, when it comes to higher education, that is frowned upon. And a lot of the witnesses that have money either already had money or come from a family with money. But a lot of the people, this is not written down on paper, but the culture of Jehovah's Witnesses, if you get out of high school and your plan is to go, I'm about to go to LSU, I'm about to go to Alabama State. People looking at you like, whoa.
What? Why aren't you going to Pioneer? You should take the summer off. Pioneer in the summer, you know?
Yep.
And then you might change your mind. This system of things is ending anyway.
Yep. All of that.
Like, so, please, I've heard it a million times. Even with me going to nursing school. Something that, in nursing school, I didn't have to go to an actual, like,
university or something.
Yeah, like a university. You can, but I didn't. I did, like, a hospital program. And even just with it being so intensive, it was still frowned upon.
And you were still local.
I was still local.
Like, it's not like you went off somewhere and went out of town.
Yes, exactly. But because it took up so much time and all these things, like, there was always people that had their own opinions that were like, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure? And meanwhile, you're a bus driver, you're still living with your parents, you can't pay for anything on your own, and you're trying to give me advice on what I should do with my future. Like, we're all figuring things out as we get older, okay? But I'm not gonna, if I'm wanting to go one way, I'm not gonna take an advice from somebody that is not at that point in their lives.
And it's,
you know what I'm saying?
That's the culture. Think of our friend that commented on something on one of our earlier videos that said, you know, we were always told not to worry about retirement. No, don't worry about a 401k. The new system's not going to be here. And he was saying that was back in the 80s. Now he's at his retirement age, like
he's 2 years away from retirement, and
it's like, what am I about to do? Like,
thankfully, he didn't listen to them, and he took the job and took the retirement and everything. Yeah. Thank goodness. Yeah. And so now he can have a retirement.
But these people set you up for failure. You don't imagine yourself. Witnesses say all the time, I never thought I was going to get old. I thought the system would be here. But in the same breath, they still chugging along. It's not like they hitting the brakes like, I need a plan B. Something ain't right. A lot of witnesses fall for the okie doke and don't have a plan set. Even in Bethel, a lot of people in Bethel, you are pretty much working a job. You are working a job and you're not getting to where you can leave this job or retire and be okay. Like when they kick all those Bethelites out, they was sorry about it.
Yeah.
They don't have any work skills. If you go straight from high school to Bethel and you do that until you're 35 and then you get out into the real world, what's on your resume?
Yeah, exactly. And thankfully sometimes there's like a brother or a sister who owns their own company and that will welcome like those people that, you know, left and, you know, give them a job. But what happens if you wake up? Okay? You are out of a job.
You done.
And you have to go out into the real world and you could be in your 40s, 50s, you know, whatever the case may be. And really, I just find it sad of how they mislead people so deeply, you know, to the point where they, just like you said, they are proud to be poor.
Yeah, it's no need to worry. We have our relationship with Jehovah.
Yeah.
And it's not getting you anywhere in this religion. And the wild part about this, the people telling you this are getting filthy rich. And they
oh my God.
have long-term investments and portfolios. And they just, if the world is about to end, why would they sell this headquarters and buy a brand new one?
Exactly.
Come on now.
And put solar panels in it, which in a lot of places that's like a tax write-off. They have tons of tax write-offs that they can use, and they have investments all in the stock market, invested into. We're going to have to do a whole separate video on like
what they do with their money.
Yes. Yeah. Because the stuff that they do with their money, you would be like, interesting. Just like how the government uses the money, you know, and they use it to fund these different things that are controversial. The governing body is the same way.
They are. And then what we even noticed about on the website, the rules and then the culture about college. And this, the funny thing about why they tell you not to go to college is not, they're not going to actually tell you why they really don't want you to go to college. But we can pull up some articles on why they say you may not want to go to college, brothers and sisters. I think y'all might want to see this.
I'm telling you. Okay, so of course we found an article. It is entitled Second Thoughts About a College Education. And it is from the Awake of 1971. Interesting time period, huh?
Right? Something happened around then.
Right. Okay, so we're going to scroll down. If you guys have time, go and check this article out because honestly, the grand majority of it was just a bunch of nonsense. They had like one good point in there about finances, but that's another topic. Anyway, so we're scrolling down to where it says to be expected. So, true, similar attitudes toward violence, sex, and drugs exist in cities and nations at large. But in college, it is more concentrated and comes at an age when young people tend to experiment and are away from home restraint. The result? A tidal wave of behavior that few parents want. There is a personality change that takes place that often drives parents to tears. The young are exposed to a climate of violence, cynicism, sexual immorality with its accompanying venereal disease and unwanted pregnancies, disillusionment, and turning to drugs. Is that the kind of climate that you want your children? Yet, what else could you expect? An atheist. Oh, you know what? Let's just talk about the first half, and then we're going to go to the third paragraph because that needs to be a paragraph all on its own.
Yeah, that's heavy right there.
So,
okay,
go ahead.
What I don't like about this paragraph, it makes it seem like you are going through something at college that's different from
everybody else.
Yeah, from regular life. So it points out, you don't want your young ones to go to college because they may get into sexual immorality and drugs. All right, for one, you usually graduate high school around 18-ish.
Yes. 17,
18. So for 4 years, you go 18, 19, 20, 21. Whether you are in college or not, this is what humans do. Young kids, this is what you get into.
And they're not lying when you're away from home restraint. Like, those years, you're like figuring out how you're going to be as a person. And this doesn't just happen at that age. It happens whenever you're in a new environment, period.
Exactly.
So even if you move out of your parents' house at 27, you are going to go through a different growth within yourself. You know what I mean? Because now you're navigating through life in a different way. You're navigating through life without the crutch of your parents, without your parents telling you what to do, without having to live underneath their rules. You know what I mean? So yes, you have this taste of freedom, and through that and within that, you are learning who you are as a person. That's something that everybody goes through. If you don't go through that, that's not
normal to not go through that. Yeah, and I hate how they just try to make it seem like how dangerous this stuff is. For one,
and it's just there.
And that's even in the congregation. They know, if you're texting the opposite sex back and forth, that's dating. That could be dangerous. They are trying to take what's normal for young people that have hormones and are attracted to each other and try to make you not be normal. Yeah. Don't do that. And then when it comes to, there's drugs in college. There's drugs everywhere. It comes down to being, are you strong-minded or weak-minded? And especially when it comes to peer pressure.
I hate that topic.
The whole bad association. Somebody cannot get you to do something that you're not interested in doing. Yeah. That's just how it works.
I think sometimes we speak from a different standpoint when it comes to that because it's like we don't have to be peer pressured into doing something. Like if we want to do something, we're just going to do it. Yeah. And if you have to be peer pressured into doing something, like why are you going to, if that's not something you want to do, why are you going to break and do it? To please others? That's like a whole different experience within yourself because at that point you have a problem with people pleasing and like the want and need to be accepted, which yes, high schoolers do go through that, that whole transition. But like we said, it's no different than real life. So basically the organization wants you to be sheltered your entire
that's a good way to put that.
That's what it is. And really I think that puts parents want to do that in general with their kids. You know what I mean? I think when I have kids, I'm going to want to shelter them in some way. But
you got to be realistic.
You have to be realistic. If you are over sheltering your children, they're not going to know what to do and how to navigate like real life if you are gone. You know what I'm saying?
Think about people that you come across that are sheltered. You could sense it, like
you could tell.
Thankfully you're around somebody that has good intentions, but if you get around the wrong people sheltered, that ain't gonna end too well for you. You have to
they can sense it.
Yeah, so you have to be realistic with your kids. You may not want them to see the real world, but by the time you're a teenager, look, son, this is what sex is. This is what drugs is. Yeah. This is what happens when you do this. It may be uncomfortable to talk about, but this is how life goes.
And this is the truth. You have to warn your daughter. Most people are more protective over their daughters than their sons. Why? Because daughters have a higher risk of getting, you know, preyed upon and things like that. So, but you have to be real with your sons and your daughters. And sometimes it's different kinds of educations at times, just because of the gender. But if you're just sheltering them, they're going to get out into the real world and have no idea what to do. And that's where the real danger comes in, because they're naive.
Right. Because you're not teaching them nothing. You're doing it like this their whole life.
Yeah.
Don't look over their son. Don't look over their daughter. No, that's not how you want to raise your kids.
Yes.
And the whole don't go to college because you can get around these things. These same things is in your neighborhood.
Literally.
People having sex in your neighborhood. People getting high in all neighborhoods. Hollywood, you could be in the poor neighborhoods, people getting high. You are in Hollywood, it's there. So you have to teach your kids about this stuff.
Absolutely.
And teach them to be able to say yes, no, whatever it is.
It's within the organization.
You hear me? Within the congregation, it's on top of weirdos and creeps in there.
I've met so many alcoholics in the organization.
Most witnesses become alcoholics because they shun from doing anything else. So it's like, all I got is this bottle laying on the table. I'm taking this to the head.
Okay, now this paragraph is where I had to chuckle, because
this is the kicker. This is the main reason.
This is the reason. They made sure to put it all the way, like sprinkled down towards the end of the article, when they know that was their number one reason.
They worded like, you have to watch out for sexual immorality.
Yeah,
and
this
drugs.
is what it really is.
And then this is like when they the medicine commercials. Please watch out for headaches. Give you this is this part.
Facts. Okay, so here's the paragraph. Yet, what else could you expect? An atheistic philosophy prevails in nearly all colleges. They are dominated by evolutionary thinking, which makes people more animalistic in their viewpoint. There is little or no restraining force or guide for their lives. This leads to abandonment of the Bible's high principles that have proved to be such a benefit in the lives of God-fearing persons, as can be attested to by Jehovah's Witnesses who believe and practice those high standards.
No, wait, before we move forward,
what?
We got to show them the hypocrisy, and then we going to dive into it. So remember that point on how they tell you to avoid all these types of ideas and thinking, and let's go to jw.org once again, and we're going to look at this article.
Okay.
All right, so on jw.org, how do Jehovah's Witnesses view education is the name of it. And this is the type of stuff they tell you at the door.
Yeah.
The other article we brought out is what you learn once you become a Jehovah's Witness. So this is the stuff to lure you in. All right, so if you skip down to where it says education is vital.
It's the first paragraph.
First paragraph. And it says, education, remember this is how they present to somebody fresh out the door. Mm-hmm. Education helps a person to develop practical wisdom and thinking ability, qualities that the Bible praises highly. Further, Jesus told his followers to be teachers of the things he commanded. Thus, we encourage and help those in our congregations to have a well-rounded education, including skills in reading, writing, and communication, as well as knowledge about other religions and cultures.
When have you ever learned about a different religion in the Jehovah's Witness organization? Never a peep, squeak, nothing. The only things they say is bad things about other religions.
And remember when you at the door and you give somebody something and they offer you something?
No,
you're supposed to, I can't take that. Yeah. Or if you do take it, throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
You are never supposed to learn about other religions. So
the hypocrisy in this paragraph, as well as knowledge about other religions and cultures. Cultures, maybe. Religions, absolutely not.
Oh, that's a no-go. You don't.
I knew nothing about religions.
They tell you the illustration that they always use, and I'm sure if anybody talked to their family once they woke up, you got this. When you know what a real dollar bill is, you don't need to examine fake dollar bills. No, that is a bogus explanation. It's like a recipe. Once you try a food place that you like, you're not gonna be like, well, this is the best chicken wings in the world.
I'm never trying another one.
I don't need no more chicken wings. No, you continue to eat. And over the time, it's like, dang, this is better than the last recipe. Yeah. And it's the same thing with Jehovah's Witnesses. They find this and they say, this is the truth. Yeah. This is the truth. And then that's it. Don't look at nothing else.
You can't look at anything else.
Yep.
Why can't you look at anything else? Because your mind might change.
Exactly. And that goes into back what we brought out in that paragraph. That is the main reason they don't want people going to college. Yeah. Because they want you brainwashed. They want you sheltered, like you said.
Absolutely.
They don't want you learning anything else that might potentially spark a thought to go, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. That's the last thing they want.
If you talk to a lot of people who have went to college who were Jehovah's Witnesses, they learned something that went against teachings. You know what I mean? And then it like sparked something. I always wanted to take a theology class, you know, and just learn about different religions, because I think I've said this in a previous video, but I find a lot of similarities between the religions. And you can only have that viewpoint if you are outside of religions, okay? Because if you say that to anybody who is like religious, they're like, no, it's not the same.
My religion is right.
Yeah, it's not the same. They follow Buddha and we follow Jesus. I don't care who you follow. Look at the teachings. Look at the core teachings. What is it teaching? Like, you know, and you can only have that perspective whenever you're not like personally tied to it, I think.
Yeah, it's like Eddie Griffith say, one person say this person, Jesus got the message. Other person say Muhammad got the message. Did you get the message?
Did you get the message?
What was the message? You said you're not going to be mad at your mailman bringing you your check because he ain't the mailman from last week. Give me my check. You know, like you said,
like, give me the value.
When you step back and look at religion, you see, okay, y'all all are following the same recipe. Y'all all tweak it a little bit, but y'all all saying the same thing. Be a good person. Be good to other people. And the only catch is you get your blessings later on. You're not gonna get the, like, don't get me wrong, the everyday blessings, but the icing on the cake comes down the line. That's kind of like a job. You apply the job and they say, all right, we're gonna pay you eventually,
right?
And you just keep showing up to work every day, but you never get paid. You don't ever see your check, but eventually you gonna get your check. You're not going for that. But that's kind of how religion is. They all have something to sell you. And eventually you get, you know, you'll get your blessing eventually. You go to heaven, or, you know, you get your virgins in heavens, or, you know, you get your paradise earth, but just do what we say in the meantime.
And then you'll get there. But if you don't do what we say, then you will not get there.
And you know what they call that? Extortion. You pay me, make sure you pay up, and if you don't pay up, these are the consequences. That's called extortion. I mean, if you really want to think about it.
I am so curious to hear it, like your guys' feelings and thoughts about education, like post-secondary school, and if it has affected you guys in any way whenever you were witnesses, if you guys went and learned something, like, because I just know even in nursing school, the blood topic, I've talked about this before too, but the blood topic, like, I never knew why we couldn't actually take the blood, and how it was explained to me was not like a good explanation. And they basically just said, you know, the soul is in the blood, you know, but the main reason that they were saying was, and this is an elder that I had like a lot of respect for, okay? He was not some like a basic elder. He was the coordinator.
Super elder.
Yeah, he was the little coordinator and everything, okay? So, and I remember him saying that you can get a lot of diseases through blood. So when I went to nursing school and I was like, okay, this is ancient teaching. Why aren't witnesses taking blood?
Because it's like, this is not the 1700s. Like, there's technology out these days. That stuff is ridiculous.
I just think that post-secondary school can definitely spark an awakening, you know?
It will.
Yeah, it will. Even with the science courses, and I'm by no means like some, what do they call them? Like Scientologist or something?
I forget it depends on what type of science.
I'm not like a Big Bang, you know, kind of person.
Right.
But I can see how people can even get an awakening from something like that, you know?
Everything. It's so many things in college that could wake a person up. Even history. You like, wait a minute, Christianity is how old? Humans been around for how long?
Exactly.
Well, what was we doing before the Bible got here? Something like, it's so many avenues that could wake a person up. And like we brought out in our beard video, when I was about to call him Brother Let. Steven Let.
Brother Let.
I don't call him no brother. He don't get no respect around here. He's a bozo. But no, when he was saying, now friends, you may have thought, well, I already was thinking that. It's wrong. Is that very, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's wrong to think for yourself. Things like that, because if you are able to think for yourself, anything that may spark, they do not want that spark.
No. And I think this goes even outside of religion. If you have the capacity to be able to think for yourself in this world, you are a threat.
Which is why
you are a threat.
All leaders have been assassinated. If it goes against the agenda.
Absolutely.
Here, of course, in America, but even in other countries, when revolutionary people come about, they got the idea to think for themselves, and they telling other people, whoa, don't forget what they talk about. Yeah. How do you feel? And now it's like, you gotta go.
Yes, anything that ends up being like truth and that is talked about, like these people get killed. Even whenever you talk about Dr. Sebi, you know what I mean? And there was a whole plane full of other holistic doctors that were basically trying to say, hey, you don't need medications to heal yourself. You can heal yourself with things from the earth. This is what you have to do.
And it's like, shh.
It's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, that's our money maker. We got to kill them.
Yeah, like, you got to go.
Yeah. That's a real thing.
It is.
Okay, so I will say I don't think that like post-secondary education is super vital. I think you can make money as an entrepreneur and there's other avenues. But that's besides the point. Even if you have money as a Jehovah's Witness, you are judged. I don't care how people, and they'll take anything as flaunting. Like, I remember there was a brother at the congregation that I went to, and he was real, like, he never like flaunted money, but he drove a really nice car. And I remember he would get talked about like in service randomly, like, he has all the money, but he's never out in service. Like, they would legitimately say stuff like this.
Jealousy.
Yes, it was jealousy. And the elder that I had like a lot of respect for at that time, the one that was a really close family friend, we had this couple, and they were a younger couple in the hall. The husband was like an entrepreneur. He had made this awesome business, whatever. And him and his wife, they bought themselves like a really nice house, and it wasn't anything like ridiculous, but it was a nice house.
Right.
And I remember that elder pulling me aside and talking about them without talking about them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, whenever you get older, you don't have to, you can live simply, and you don't have to get a lot of things or big flashy things. Don't you think that me and my wife can afford a bigger home? But we don't get it because it's not necessary. And he was trying to humbly flex, which in turn made him look very arrogant, because you're trying to like crap on somebody else without saying it, because the couple had just bought their home. So who else were you talking about? And at that time I was really close, like I was close with that couple, and I think that they felt the energy. It was a younger couple, and I think that everybody in the hall kind of felt the energy that like a lot of the younger people looked up to this couple, because they were cool. Like, she was a pioneer sister and he was a ministerial servant at that time, but they were like a cool couple. They weren't one of those uptight.
They was laid back.
Yes, they were. It like gave us the hope that like, okay, we don't have to be, so uptight.
Yeah, like you can relax a little.
Yes, and that's how they were. So they were. He was trying to like quietly crap on them. Yes.
And people don't understand when you say stuff like that. It actually reveals how you are. Yeah, who you really are. So it sounds this way, but it's really like, I'm jealous of this person. Yeah. That's exactly how it comes out.
Yeah, because why are you even in this person's like finances? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you pocket watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys literally preached, to do things, to have the freedom to be out there and to be doing service for God, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so within that, what is wrong with him owning a business that he only has to put maybe 20 hours a week into because he worked so hard at the beginning?
Yep.
And now look at all this free time that they have to go out and service just like you guys want. And also live his life like he wants, you know? But no.
That's definitely how they are. Like, they are very judgmental of the people who are doing good financially. It's not written down, but it's the culture.
And they don't even have to say anything about it. Like, they're like they're quiet about it. Oh, but there was another elder that they were real buddy with, and he had a lot of money too, but never would speak anything bad about him.
Exactly.
It was just nonsense.
Take the religion part away, and it's just jealous people.
No, really, it
that's
was.
all it is.
Yeah. And then they tried, and that's the thing is, their jealousy fuels them to try to use Bible standards to belittle them.
They always take a scripture and try to, just that one little scripture, one or two of them, and apply it to anything.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with nothing.
Yep, I agree.
Yep. All right, so another thing with this organization is that all right, so in church, you can be a member of a church and be an R&B singer or an actor or a rapper, and you are still welcome with open arms. But in Jehovah's organization, you are shunned. You are not supposed to be, pursuing this type of career or anything like that, and able to still be, looked at in good standing as a Jehovah's Witness.
Because at that point, I think they view you as arrogant, like self-absorbed,
worldly.
All of those things, chasing fame, all these things, and maybe these people weren't chasing fame. Maybe they just had a really good talent and they delve into their talent, and fame was just a consequence of whatever talent that they had.
And some people just have a passion for things. Some people love, the playing the keyboard, or some people just have a beautiful voice or something like that.
Literally.
And we have a list. All right, so what sparked this was when a couple people hit us up like, you see Cat Williams talk about he was Jehovah's Witness? I'm going to find it. My mom got a picture of Cat Williams at the Kingdom Hall
that is so
not
crazy.
Too long ago. Side note, his grandmother passed, I want to say around like 2018, 2017.
Yeah.
And he came to the Kingdom Hall for her funeral.
Yeah.
And you should hear the people are so shady when it comes to celebrities, because Cat Williams is disfellowship. So Cat Williams, he think everybody was paying him attention. Nobody looking at him.
Like, why are you such a hater?
Yeah,
his grandmother died.
Yeah, like I remember my granddad being like, he was in there kind of just like sitting around like people look. Ain't nobody paying him no amount.
He's always like that.
Yeah, that's Cat. But just think, all right, so how you are not supposed to pursue your talents and career. Just think, if these people followed Jehovah's Witnesses rules while they were going to the Kingdom Hall, we would have never heard of these people. So one, we mentioned Cat Williams. Another, Michael Jackson, the king of pop. He's the most famous person ever. Was Michael Jackson. You got Ja Rule. You got Mr. X to the Z Exhibit. You got Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian. Miguel, the R&B singer. Jill Scott. Sherry Shepherd. Selena. You got Eddie Griffin. One of the greatest comedians of all time. Eddie Griffin was a Jehovah's Witness. Michelle Rodriguez was in the first Fast and the Furious.
All the Fast and Furious. Can you imagine it without her?
Come on now.
Come on, not without Letty.
No, and then you have Blast, one of the dopest new R&B artists out.
Love me some Blast.
You got the Wayans family.
All the brothers.
Come on now, that's all the way back from In Living Color to all. They discovered Jennifer Lopez,
didn't know that.
Jim Carrey. A long list of people that we would have never known if it wasn't for Keenan Wayans.
Yeah.
You got Terrence Howard. You got the Notorious B.I.G. was a Jehovah's Witness. Naomi Campbell. Donald Glover. Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, which he studied on and off.
Yeah.
And then you have Omarion was studying, and thankfully he stopped. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's all these people that like we wouldn't even know about. We wouldn't have their music. We wouldn't have their talents. And thankfully, they were able to leave and pursue what it is that they wanted. Because can you imagine if this religion would have kept them under the restraints? And that's another thing, is the religion will tell you not to go after certain dreams like this. And even if your dream is to, be a lawyer or be a doctor, whatever the case is, they'll tell you not to pursue post-secondary schooling, okay? Because of all the college stuff. But then send out letters like, hey, we need a lawyer. If you are a lawyer or if you are a doctor, please send in to come work at Bethel.
We're desperate. We're going through it right now. We in legal trouble.
Like, really? So you cannot allow like things like this to hold you back. Like, imagine if these people would have allowed the religion to hold them back. We
would have never witnessed. A lot of it's people on here watching whose favorite song is probably some of these people. You know what I mean? Or favorite show or favorite movie involve these people. These people inspire others. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what. And you know what we were just talking about too, is how they say, okay, if you leave the religion and good things start happening to you, or you start experiencing like a really good life, that is the devil blessing you.
And you know what else they say?
What?
If you leave this religion and bad things start happening to you,
that is also
that's the devil. Like, dang, the devil, he's busy. He do good stuff and bad stuff for you. Which is it? No, like sometimes you are just pursuing what you were meant to do in life. You found your purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And to try to stray somebody away from their purpose in this lifetime is just, it's so mind-blowing to me. Because really, this lifetime is so short.
Yeah.
You know, you don't live a long time. I'm not saying just be out here like YOLOing around, but what I am saying is, why die with a ton of regrets on what you shoulda, coulda, woulda done?
Especially when you have talents that are not normal, that most people don't have. When you got a certain skill and somebody's telling you not, think of that. You have a certain skill that people are admiring, like, you could do that?
Yeah.
And somebody's like, don't do it.
Yeah. Or do it for God. Sing this song.
Yes.
Sing these songs for God.
At the Kingdom Hall. But don't perform in front of other people.
Yeah.
Don't give that speech. Don't go out and share this information or make people laugh. Don't do that.
Yeah. The amount of like beautiful voices that I heard singing the Kingdom melodies was like ridiculous. There's always multiple amazing singers in these congregations.
And everybody knows about them.
Everybody knows about them. Everybody knows that they're amazing, but they don't, it's just a talent that they have.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's going to waste.
Yeah.
I think it all, when we would hoop, it was brothers I remember can hoop, like, could ball.
Yeah.
And I just would be like, he could have did something with that. Could have went to the pros. There's so many people I remember in high school, like my cousins. Both of them were like 6'3", 6'4", and didn't play on the team. And everybody at school look at people like that crazy, like, bro, why you on hoop? You hoop in open gym, bro. You get buckets. Why you don't play for the team?
So not allowed. My religion.
Another person I forgot, Kevin Garnett.
Oh, I didn't even think of
Kevin
that.
Garnett was Jehovah's Witness growing up. There's plenty Daquan Cook is from Dayton, Ohio, that played for the Miami Heat and played for the Thunder. He's from Dayton, Ohio. He grew up a Jehovah's Witness. His mom went to our congregation, but thankfully he didn't listen and he went and hooped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember, do you remember Jason Worlds? And whenever he started like studying and stuff, listen, it was such a big thing at my congregation. All these people, you know how they tell you not to treat people like they're celebrities. Yep. But let's be for real, everybody was treating him like he was a celebrity. Like they were excited to be around him, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, I got to, have dinner with Jason Worlds after the assembly, yada yada. But anyway, he ended up totally withdrawing his like football career and became a Jehovah's Witness.
Sad, and they praised him.
Yeah, they praised him real good. And then I'm sure in some years down the road, he's probably going to look back and be like...
Everybody that told him he was stupid for doing it, he go like, dang, I was stupid. I remember when Marcus Houston got baptized and how everybody went crazy?
Yes. That's a whole other story.
That's speaking of Hollywood stuff going on. He had one of the original Hollywood stories with the Raz B stuff, but even like the whole, all right, coming into the organization, we're not going to go too far into it, but him marrying a girl that young.
How old was she, 17?
Like 18, like right when she was legal, and he had mentioned in an interview that he knew her when she was younger, and creepy. She was always cool, and then he married. You wanted that girl since she was young.
Yeah.
And this is the Jehovah's Witness culture. You overlook creepy stuff like that because he's a brother.
So true.
It is. He's a brother.
And he probably only became a brother so that he could be with that girl or something.
Yeah.
Because we had comments before in one of our, was it our dating video? I think it was our dating video, but like a couple of experiences where like, they chase the title thing. So they try to hook you up with the ministerial servants and all these things. But it would be like women who were just turning 20 and trying to get hooked up with these like mid-40s.
Elders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is another. And even with certain brothers that are kind of zesty, he's a brother. So that means he can't be like that.
Like,
he's a brother. Yeah, they cover all type of creep stuff, all type of things that
people are not able to express their full selves.
Things that are not allowed in Jehovah's organization. Like this, that brother, he's a drunk. You can't say stuff like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is so true. And then the relationships they end up in, it ends up being crazy because that front that gets put on of like, oh, I'm a brother, I'm a ministerial servant, I'm this, I'm that, and then there's all this stuff hiding in their closet.
It's like, don't look at me, look at this title.
Look at this title.
They got everything written on their forehead what they really are, but it's like ministerial servant. Okay, fascinated by that.
Yep.
Well.
So, yeah, that is why we say Jehovah's Witnesses are proud to be poor.
Yeah, I hope it made sense for y'all. I know we went kind of like that, but what I like about the people that watch our videos, they be rolling with us the whole time. Like, thanks.
I know. Shout out to y'all because we do be all over the place.
Don't we?
It's because we're unscripted, so we just come in and we just start talking.
Yeah, we got a topic. We got probably a reference, a couple references.
Yes.
And then it just goes. And then y'all jump in the comments with more stuff, and we like, oh yeah, we need to add that into a video.
Facts.
Yep.
But you guys are gonna have to join us for the next one.
Yep. Make sure y'all hit us up on Instagram on our new IG.
Yes.
We'll put it on the screens. Awaken Truths IG. Hit us up on there.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
We'll catch you on the next one, right?